Ecuador's president has denied reports that his government has decided to grant asylum to Australia's WikiLeaks founder, Julian Assange. Mr. Assange has been holed up in Ecuador's British embassy for 8 weeks, trying to avoid extradition to Sweden to face allegations of sexual assault. Britain's Guardian newspaper, quoting officials in Ecuador, reported that Mr. Assange would be offered asylum, but that was later contradicted by the Ecuadorian president, who tweeted the reports were false and that no decision had been made. Well, to discuss the latest, we're joined by our European correspondent, Phillip Williams, in our London office. Phil, contradictory reporting all round. Are we any closer to knowing what the Ecuadorian decision will be?
Well, we're closer, but we have no idea what that decision is in reality. Yes, we did have that contradictory report denied by the President's office. We've also had reports from the Foreign Minister, the Ecuadorian Foreign Minister, saying a decision will be made after the Olympics. So that's what really has sparked all of this. The sense that they would lay off a decision during the Olympics, but after the Olympics that decision would be made public. But we know it's complicated because it's not just a legal decision, it's a practical decision. And once you make a decision one way or another, well, how do you physically deal with him in a way that satisfies the legal systems of both Britain and Ecuador and the other countries involved, Sweden and possibly even the United States?
Well, you mean how do you physically get him out of the embassy and along the roadway to Heathrow and onto an aeroplane because the British police want to arrest him before he gets on that plane?
Exactly. That is essentially the problem. All very well granting political asylum, but unless he spends the rest of his life in the embassy, and I'm sure he doesn't want to do that, how do you actually remove him from the country? As soon as he drives out of the embassy, as long as he stays inside the car, which has diplomatic immunity, he is okay. But the police can stop that car. So effectively, they can stop the car and just basically wait until he has to leave. The other question, of course, then is, even if he gets to the airport, well, clearly he has to get out of the car at some point and go through immigration and get onto a plane with plenty of opportunities there for him to be picked up by the British police. So there are very, very basic, simple logistics problems associated with this, and at this stage nobody seems to know what the answer is.
Has anyone asked the Ecuadorians what they would do under the circumstances where they granted him asylum?
Well, yes, but the answer from the Foreign Minister was simply that there are these practical issues that have to be resolved. So what that actually means, we simply don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. But it's very unlikely that the British government and certainly the Swedish government would happily let him go to the airport and fly off to Ecuador. They would almost certainly intervene if the opportunity arose, and that opportunity would arise the moment he steps outside the sanctuary of the embassy.
Any news? I mean, he's now trapped himself in this embassy, effectively, so it actually looks like a pretty bad move in many respects. News that they've brought in some exercise machines because he's getting rather unfit, sitting around eating Ecuadorian food in this embassy, apparently.
Well, there are those reports. There are reports he's basically taken over one room in the embassy, and no doubt the embassy didn't plan on a visitor for a long time, and this is no doubt an inconvenience to the embassy, and of course for him. The solitude of being holed up there and not able to sort of step outside, not even able to be in the sunshine, effectively, that must be a huge strain. Effectively, he is, we're told, in a room with the internet so he can communicate with the outside world. But it's a situation he would no doubt be sick of, and no doubt be waiting to get out of. But exactly how that puzzle is resolved, we just have to wait and see.
Very briefly, Phil, is he still doing interviews from inside the embassy? I haven't heard too many, and it would be quite an interesting question to see how he's speculating how he would, fly the coop if he got the asylum.
No, look, he's been quiet. There's been the occasional tweet, one to deny that a deal had been done and had been agreed to. But apart from the tweets, no silence. And, tweets from the bird in the cage, effectively, and no idea how he'll fly that cage.
Phil Williams, we thank you very much for that.